Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Professor Trufax, and you're watching Absolutely Trufax. On this show, we aim to give our viewers a comprehensive education on anything and everything, and we pride ourselves on being completely, totally, and absolutely truthful. Regardless, we have received some unwarranted email complaints after our last episode. Certain individuals have claimed we may be spreading inaccurate information. I will remind you all that every Absolutely Trufax true fact is backed up by trusted academic journals all over the country, which you can peruse at your leisure. Wait, what? Oh dear. We've just received word that all those documents were lost forever in simultaneous nationwide library fires just moments ago. Tragic, tragic stuff. Well, just trust us, okay? So, without any further ado, did you know that in addition to the word orange, the words month, silver, and belt also have no proper rhymes? Did you know that the fruit smoothie got its name from the smooth skin of the fruit mixed into it? Did you know that most drafts are short, but are also masters of the optical illusion and make themselves appear taller? Did you know that you are watching Absolutely Trufax?
Everything you know is a lie, except for the thing I'm telling you right now about everything being a lie. And don't lie, you know that. But there exists a man, a very smart man, who is smart and everything he says is true and is not lies. Why would you even think that? Learning can be hard, but you don't have anything to fear. The show's about to start, open your mind and lend an ear. It's time to hear completely and positively, absolutely Trufax.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Absolutely Trufax, and let me tell you, I love knowledge. Learning it, sharing it, both have been great passions of mine since I was young. My teacher would always say, "Oh, that Trufax boy, he's such a studious young lad. Why, I could just eat him up." And oh, how she tried. I still have scars from the bite marks. But using the power of knowledge, I was able to correctly identify my teacher as a hungry bear in disguise, and contacted the proper authorities in time. It pays to be observant and knowledgeable, dear viewers. You never know when someone close to you could be a wild, predatory animal with the ability to speak and wear elaborate costumes. That's a lesson I think we can all relate to. And speaking of animals, here's our first segment of the day, All Things Alive. On All Things Alive, we discuss the various creatures that make up our delicate ecosystem here on Earth. Today, we're going to be taking a very close look at bugs. You know, because bugs are small, so you have to take a close look at them. That's how smallness works. That's the joke. A true fact. Queen ants live the longest out of any insect, capable of surviving up to 30 years. In comparison, a worker ant lives a maximum of 1 year, so the queen lives 30 times longer than the average ant. If humans had queens like ants do, with similar lifespans, they would live for several thousands of years. Now here's the point I'm getting at. Humans are usually notoriously bad drivers when they reach their later years. We must then assume this trend would continue as age increases, and therefore we are able to determine that a queen ant would be incredibly dangerous behind the wheel of a car. That's some game-changing info right there. True fact! The chirping of crickets can be used to determine the temperature. To be specific, counting the amount of times a cricket chirps in 14 seconds and adding 40 degrees to that value will give you the temperature in Fahrenheit. Some may think this is because warmth affects how quickly a cricket is able to move its muscles, but it is in fact the other way around. Crickets have the ability to manually change the temperature through the power of chirping. If one were to make a cricket angry, and thank goodness they aren't angered easily, they could increase the rate of their chirping to a point where your body would burst into flames. So never do anything foolish like mock a cricket's weight. In fact, don't mock anyone's weight. It's mean and unnecessary. True fact. A bee is able to fly up to 60 miles over the course of a day, a distance quite insurmountable considering the size of a mere bee. However, this is nothing compared to their walking ability, as it consumes much less energy. If a bee were to only travel by walking, their bodies would actually be able to take them 500 miles. In certain cases, they can even walk 500 more, just to be the bee that walks 1,000 miles to fall down at your door. You might be thinking, that sounds like that one song. You probably thought it was called 500 Miles, and you probably didn't know who sang it. The song is actually called I'm Gonna Be by the Proclaimers, and believe it or not, the song was actually based off of bees. 87% of all hit songs are, in one way or another, bee-related, although songwriters don't like to admit this secret of the industry. True fact! Speaking of bees, it is a popular rumor that scientists once proved the bumblebee is unable to fly despite it clearly doing so in nature. The rumor has appeared in many collections of fun facts in magazines and newspapers. Of course, it is simply a rumor. But how did the rumor come about? Well, you see, it all traces back to an experiment by the famed Wright brothers. In their many failed pursuits of creating viable human flight, they made all sorts of discoveries. One such discovery was that of the shrink ray, which they blew hundreds of thousands of dollars on for one purpose: to see if a human could ride a bumblebee like a horse. With a human on its back, the test bumblebee was unable to fly due to the weight, thus starting the rumor. Unfortunately, the Wright brothers never finished their growth ray, and their shrunken rider ended up passing away due to their radically diminished physiology. True fact! They say that a person consumes an average of 8 spiders a year while they sleep. Well, as a man of facts, I can assure you that this is completely false. Spiders are smart enough not to crawl into your mouth. There's nothing to gain from that. No, they crawl into your ears. This is so they can easily access your brain and consume your dreams. I mean, what did you think they ate? Flies? How often do you think a fly will land on a spider's web? It's statistically near impossible. So spiders eat the next best thing, your subconscious thoughts. This is why dream catchers look so much like spider webs. When the spider has captured your dream, it will drag it back to its web. The dream catcher is made so the spider will think that the device is its web, put the dream on there, and it falls right back down into your head. In addition to the dream catcher, people in olden times warned their children about spiders with this little lullaby. Oh, spiders will crawl on your head and eat your dreams, leaving nothing but nightmares that will make you scream. So plug your ears, plug 'em up tight when you go to bed tonight, or spiders will crawl on your head and eat your dreams. The song was written by 19th century poet Billy Joel. Speaking of Billy Joel, did you know that he almost wasn't a musician? His father actually strongly pressured him to try a variety of sports. Howard Joel was a respected classical piano player, but never wanted his son William to follow in his footsteps due to a mysterious curse passed down through the family. Without support from his parents, he learned music in secret and eventually killed the malevolent spirit that had cursed his bloodline. But that's not important. What's important is that he did become rather well-versed in sports along the way, and now you too can learn about sports in our next segment, Sports Skills. Today on Sports Skills, we're going to be talking about America's greatest pastime, soccer. Truly one of the most American sports out there, but many don't truly know the intricacies of how soccer is played. Allow me to explain. True fact. Soccer is played with 2 teams of 11 players. The object of the game is to get an inflated rubber ball across a field into a cloth net. A simple enough task, but of course, for the sake of making things interesting, there are restrictions. For one, no using your hands. All soccer players swear a vow to never, ever use their hands on or off the field. It is a taxing lifestyle, but one that must be maintained at all times for the sanctity of the sport. Soccer coaches have a saying that goes, use 'em, lose 'em, referring to losing games, of course, not losing their hands, although amputation was also sometimes enforced on certain teams back in the day. True fact. Additionally, each of the nets is guarded by one of the 11 players known as a goalie. The name is rather self-explanatory, as they are in charge of the goal and they are also always named Lee. Another very strict requirement, one that makes things very confusing for the announcers. Soccer is a sport steeped in tradition, as I'm sure you can tell. True fact. Finally, every game of soccer must be played on real, genuine grass. Fake grass is not allowed, as it's believed that its fakeness empowers Loki, the Norse god of deceit and trickery, whom influences soccer players to fake injuries more often than they already do. True fact. Beyond that, there are no rules in soccer. In fact, all existing rules that would be in place are null and void. Geographical laws, societal manners, and even the rules of physics. Everything is out the door. Players kick the ball to their opponent's net by any means necessary, and I mean any means necessary. The lack of restriction would theoretically make it a very dangerous and unpredictable game. One can imagine it to be pure, unadulterated pandemonium. But for some reason, the players never do anything interesting. They just kick the ball around. Disappointing. Still, it's a sport we love all the same. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but after that, more of the learning you love is on the way. Thanks for watching, and see you in a few. Welcome back to Absolutely Trufax. I'm Professor Trufax. Some argue that truth is subjective, that true knowledge cannot be determined as all knowledge is, in a way, still knowledge regardless of truth. Therefore, we cannot truly know what is the truth or what knowledge we truly know. True knowledge is acknowledged to be knowledgeably true by those who are truly knowledgeable. But if you're truly more knowledgeable than the truthfully acknowledged knowledgeably true, then it is true that you know what is true. So, in summary, I know what I'm talking about. On with the show! Life is strange, and it seems like it gets stranger every day. But the past seems exceptionally strange compared to now. Maybe we're just picky. Let's find out in our next segment. Here's the historical record. I have always loved history, mainly because there's just so much of it, and more of it every day. Today on the historical record, though, we'll be talking about one of my favorite subjects of all, ancient Greece. I love everything about ancient Greece, but my favorite thing has got to be their marble pillars. I mean, just look at them. So white, so tall, so riveted. They're just so satisfying to see, but it's even more satisfying to learn. True fact. Ancient Greece was the birthing ground of democracy. Democracy is well known in the modern day as America's form of government, and we have Greece to thank for it. Although back in the day, they voted a bit differently. You see, if you weren't aware, they didn't exactly have voting machines back then, and didn't have the technology to perform fast-paced record-keeping that's necessary when most of the population of a country shows up to vote. So they devised a system. Workers would dig 2 deep pits, with a large stack of white-hot stones in the middle. Voters would approach the stack, take a white-hot stone, and quickly toss it into the hole that corresponded to their thought on the issue. The stones were kept incredibly hot, so as to prevent voter fraud and deter voting multiple times. In the end, whichever pit was the most full was the victor. True fact! Before voting, though, there had to be law that served as the basis of government, and the man who wrote it all down was named Draco, and he did it in 621 BC. The punishments detailed in this code of law were incredibly strict, thus originating the term draconian. Despite this, however, Draco was adored by the citizens of Greece. They loved him to death. Literally! In Greece at the time, it was custom upon celebrating someone for everyone to take off their hat and cloak to toss it in their direction. Draco was so incredibly popular that one day during a reception in his honor, he was showered in so much clothing that he suffocated underneath and died. You can't make this stuff up, folks. True fact. Sparta was a Greek city widely known for its penchant for war. Boys were sent to military camps as young as 7, and service lasted until the age of 60. Ancient Greeks didn't live much longer than their 70s, so the golden time of retirement was short-lived for the survivors. In fact, many Spartans who made it to retirement only lasted a few mere months before hungering for more. This was when they were enlisted into the secret super military. Historians aren't quite sure what the super military fought, but non-historians are absolutely certain it was aliens. True fact. The Greeks had some strange superstitions about food. For instance, some would refuse to eat beans out of fear that they contained the souls of the dead. Thankfully, this was scientifically disproven in 1897, when we were first able to interview ghosts. Beans, as it turns out, actually ward off spirits. Beans are considered legumes, whose main purpose in the environment is converting nitrogen into NH3. And as we all know, ghosts are primarily comprised of nitrogen. The process drains away the ghost's nitrogen corporeal form, forcing it to pass on to the spirit realm. Coincidentally, National Bean Day is January 6th. Mark your calendars. True fact. Speaking of food, Greece has the world's largest amount of olive trees. Isn't that crazy? Not that Greece has the most olive trees, but the fact that olives grow on trees? I mean, I don't know what I expected them to grow from, but trees? They're so small. Most things that grow on trees are about the same size, like apples, oranges, lemons. And what makes it even weirder is that olive trees look freaky. Take a look. It looks terrifying. Olives growing on trees, what is the world coming to? That's like saying pineapples don't grow on trees. Oh wait, they don't. They grow on these things. Absolutely ridiculous. Get your act together, nature. True fact. The encyclopedia was originally a Greek concept. The oldest known encyclopedia was written in Greece 2,000 years ago. We do not, however, know who wrote it, nor do we know what it contained, as it was destroyed. Now you know me, and I cannot abide by the destruction of knowledge. Simply horrid. So it is with no surprise that I harbor a strong distaste for the culprit. No one quite knows who did it, but I have a theory. Romans stole many things from the Greeks. Mythology, architecture, and land, of course. But that wasn't enough. With the original encyclopedia gone, the new oldest encyclopedia that still exists was written by, you guessed it, a Roman named Gaius Plinius Secundus. And I think he was the one who did the deed. He wanted his work to be known as the first, so he destroyed the original, and probably plagiarized from it too. I'm on to you, Pliny. I'm coming for you. As soon as the folks over at NASA finally release their time machine to the general public, guess where I'm headed? And that's the truest fact you'll ever get out of me. Whew. Got a little manic for a second there. I don't know about all of you, but I could use a break. Thankfully, we have one scheduled for right now. Stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Professor Trufax, and you've been watching Absolutely Trufax, and in a few minutes, you won't be. Like all things in life, the show must come to an end. And also like all things in life, the show will be back in exactly a week. I hope you've enjoyed our time together and will come back for more. The hunger for knowledge is never easily sated. And now it's time for today's Trufax tip. There are many ways to keep yourself busy in life, and I'd say it's important to keep busy. The dangers of a sedentary lifestyle are numerous. A stagnant mind or a stagnant body are the keys to a stagnant life. So I urge you, dear viewers, to always be active. Find yourself a means to be productive. Take up a hobby, make regular exercise a habit, or simply find a good book to read. That being said, balance is just as important. Don't push yourself and relax when you need to. Just don't let relaxing take over your life. Life can slip by faster than you realize. Make sure you're there to catch it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Professor Trufax. This has been Absolutely Trufax. Stay safe, stay positive, and stay aware. Tune in next time for more of the same. Good night.